Did everybody get the handout? The two-page handout? Great. All right. Great to see you, Laura. Let's see how many of us are in Massachusetts. Laura, Christine, I almost met in Cape Cod. And Mabel, I could have met you in San Francisco, but it didn't happen. And so welcome. Great. So what I want to do today is give you a taste of what I'm covering, what I have in these 4 books that I wrote. The hardest one is the one that I wrote in June in 2 days. And then I didn't show it to anybody until I went to the Nutmeg Ukulele Festival in Connecticut last month. And then somebody said, you should let it, it should be out there. You shouldn't hoard it. You should keep it. You should get it out. So I thought, okay, well, maybe I could do that. So then already I was on my next book, which is the fitness, finger fitness for flexibility. It's a tongue twister. So we're going to get a taste of a little bit of everything. Nice to see you, Joyce. I think we met in, was it Simsbury, was it? Or I'm not sure, but great. All right. So what I want to do first is to have us do a short exercise, just a warm up as I usually do, which is just take your ukulele, and I presume it's all in tune. And thank you for filling out the long-winded registration form. That way I get to know you. And the feedback I got from Wednesday was that most people are quite advanced. So I thought, wow, well, I'm just going to keep doing this. All right, Rosemarie, great to see you. So we're going to just try a little bit with 4 chords: C, A minor, F, G7. Okay, this is one example of a common chord progression. Half of you got the answer. It's not C, D, E, F, G, or whatever. It's actually Pachelbel's chord progression, Pachelbel's canon. So we're going to do, if you like to finger pick, I would really love it if I could see your right hand, so I could see. And does anybody have a baritone ukulele? Steve, you probably love doing the mental gymnastics, don't you? Everybody else is doing something and you're thinking, whoop, or maybe you know it, so you don't care.
I'm listening to the chord names.
Oh, right. Okay. So that's very
Yeah.
important. Thanks very much. All right.
Yeah.
So the chord names, I'll put it in chat. We're just going to do for now as a warm up C, A minor, F, G7. Okay. And we're going to do different kinds of strumming and plucking patterns. What would be really nice is when I'm plucking, you're strumming. And when I'm strumming, you're plucking. So let's go through the easiest plucking pattern, which is just the arpeggio. So let's do a C and give me a straight thumb. Yeah. And we're just going to go. All right, Sherry, I can't see your right hand. That's your left hand. Show me your right hand. There you go. I hope you can still see me, okay? That's the easiest. And I have you do a straight thumb because if you curve it, it's going to fly off. It's going to be less efficient. So it's good to have a straight thumb and just do that, right? And if you want to do Travis picking, you can. What's Travis picking? It's what? It's literally outside and then inside. Okay. So those are the kind of finger picking. And let's start with strumming. What are the strums that we know? Let's see. We do the down strum. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We also do the down up strum, don't we? Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Okay, we could also do it with an accent like down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down. And we could use our nails instead of our thumb to give a different texture, right? What else do we do? How about alternating? Down, 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 up, down. Or accent on the second beat would be down, down, up, down, up, down. Okay. And I bet you all do the calypso or the, what is it? The island strum, right? down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up. Okay, so let me have you do the strumming while I do the picking and see if it sounds like a little ensemble. All right, so it'll be the C. One, so do the strumming while I pick. 1, 2, 3, 4. Change to the A minor, to the F.
And do you have your original sound?
Oh my God.
Just gonna say the same thing. I
You know
can't
what?
hear your instrument.
Thank you so much for pointing that out. So that was with the original sound off. So now original sound is on.
can hear
Thank
you.
you so much.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, very good point. Good to see you, Karen. Great. And is that Ellie?
It is. Hello.
Ah, nice to see you. I just spoke to Ellie today. I just want to have a quick break about coming full circle. I was asking my husband, this lady from Linden Pond called me and he goes, yeah, that's in Hingham. And I said, how do you know? He goes, that's where your piano came from. I said, what do you mean? He says, your 9-foot Baldwin grand piano came from the owner who lives there. And I thought, this is full circle. And the reason Ellie called me was because this lady named Eileen said to me last year, you taught my daughter the ukulele. I said, I did? She goes, yeah, she was just a kid, but now she's graduated from high school, going to college. I said, oh my gosh, talk about full circle. Isn't that amazing? I started teaching 2018 and I got the piano in 2016 before I came to Boston. It arrived. Okay.
Small world. Small world.
It's a really small world. All right, I'm going to mute everybody and let's go back and do it again now that you can hear me. Okay, so you're gonna strum any kind of strum you want while I finger pick, then we're gonna reverse, all right? So the chords I mentioned, if you got in late, you probably haven't seen it in the chat, I'll put it in here, is C, A minor, F, and G7, okay? So I'm gonna count. I'm gonna move slightly when I move to the next chord, but I'll call it out, all right? So 1, 2, 3, 4. A minor and F and G7. Great. Okay, are you ready for the reverse? Okay, we'll just do it one more time. And F and G7. Get ready to switch. I'm gonna strum, you're gonna pluck. A minor, F, G7, and continue. This is ear training. Can you tell which chords I'm going to? Continue. Now this time it's not going to be regular. Did you catch that? Congratulations. I had such a ball on Wednesday with the 4 people who came in, one of them from New Jersey, and who is right here, I think, that I just forgot what it was like to be back in Zoom. I was so present with them, you know, so I'm really excited if we could. Can I just get a show of hands? How many of you regularly jam or play with people in person? Raise your hand. Oh, you lucky people. All right. I used to have a thriving group every single Wednesday downstairs, and it all stopped when the pandemic hit. It's really hard to get it back up. Yeah, Karen, your you're saying, yep, you're nodding, because it was really hard, because you think twice, like, should I go or should I stay? Should I, why should I go somewhere, right? All right, so what I want to do today is just give you a taste of the different exercises. And I really want to show you a different way to think about ukulele. I know most of you, or most of us, we learn to play the ukulele through song. Yeah, through songs. Now, what if we were to just look at chords outside of the context of songs? Just look at them from the point of view of, well, that takes one finger, that takes two fingers, that takes three fingers, kind of like navigating a chessboard, and then after a while, it's like, I don't need to look at my left hand because I could feel where it's going. Yeah, I remember. Raise your hand if you still need to look at your left hand. Right? Yeah. Even when you don't need to, you still do, right? So then, it's about sight reading. Yeah, I wrote my piano teaching diploma thesis on sight reading because I noticed that it doesn't come naturally for people. I've always loved sight reading because I was always curious and impatient, and I want to know what's the next thing. I just want to play. But I noticed that ukulele players, we're much better than most musicians. We look at the song sheet and we're able to just look at the song sheet and play. So how do we get there? And then I'm going to inject a little bit of music theory because I think that, it's nice to use the right words to kind of express ourselves, yeah. And then raise your hand if you love puzzles. Great. I never play online games, but my mother just left after 6 weeks being with me, and she's literally glued to her iPhone playing all these games. So she kind of introduced me to something, a word game, by saying, I'm stuck. Can you help me? And then I found myself totally addicted to it. It's like, because all these blings and, rewards and things. And I thought, oh my gosh, I can't believe how much fun it is. So that's what I want. All right. So here we go. We're gonna look at this here. Got the wrong one up. What we're gonna do here, share. Okay, so this is being recorded just for my own eyes and so I could review it. And you've seen that. This is what we went through, and this is how I represent it basically when I'm teaching, the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and probably you all know this, but I say that you should constantly move your right hand if you're right-handed, even when you're not doing anything. Like this is an air stroke, because otherwise, your rhythm will go off. And there's different variations of the calypso strum. So if you were to teach someone completely new, you could literally start with the F add 9 chord. And those people with a low G ukulele, we call that an F/G chord. I mean, just with this chord, you could do skip, skip, skip to my loo, and then move your middle finger to the C7 and kind of walk back and forth. Skip, skip, skip to my loo, skip, skip, And you could also do Eleanor Rigby with just those 2 chords, F and A minor, and a whole bunch of 2-chord songs. But then getting to the G7, let's just try this. Any sort of plucking or strumming patterns, 4 counts each. It's made up of C, 1, 2, 3, 4, C, sus 4, G7, sus 4, and G7, and back to the C. All right, so chords are made up of all these different notes, and we'll get to what diatonic chords mean next. This was in my very, very first book, and I just did this one thing, one off, and then one of the, one of my students, this is adult class in Arlington, in just outside of Boston, said to me, that is what I want. I want that. So this is in your handout. let's just go through it quickly. Again, 4 counts each. So what's happening is 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe this gets a bit hard. You might look to your left hand when you go from the F sharp minor to the F, but there's no reason. Yeah. Rosemary, you're now unmuted. Okay, I'm just gonna mute Rosemary. You don't need to look at your left hand, right? Because your hand isn't moving. So the whole concept of going G7, E7, you're probably tempted to lift your hand up. The thing is never to leave, never to have nothing on the fretboard. Kind of like when you're walking, you know, who walks with no feet on the ground? There's always one foot on the ground. Yeah. And then the bottom, these are important. I'm just curious, do you all know this? Is this like familiar to you? Raise your hand if you already know this. Yeah, right, because it's a great way to get to tablature reading, you know, by getting used to the numbers. So this, since you have the handout already, you could write, you know, if you've got it printed, write down the names, you know, the 2000 below each of this. So, and then how fast can you finger change the chords without looking at your left hand? And then repeat right to left. So from this right hand side, go to the left. And if you're really good, you would repeat skipping a chord. Yeah, like from A minor, you skip, go to D minor, go to E7, and then go to D, and then go to A7, and go back to B flat major 7, to G7, to F. So I'm going to stop this for a moment because I'm going to put you in breakout rooms because you think you know how to do it, but your partner in the breakout room is going to look at you to see whether you really know how to do it, right? So, so that's what we're going to do. And what is really nice to do to make sure you're actually playing the chord is to do this. I say, for example, you're doing the C chord, straight thumb. This is called the rest stroke because every time you finger pick one string, it rests on the next string. Yeah. And then you could do 3 strums, 1, 2, 3. And on the 4th count, that's when you switch to the next chord. So this is what I like you to do in these breakout rooms, which I'm just going to put you in randomly. And you could, you know, I'll give you 5 or 6 minutes. You could introduce yourself to each other. I think we got enough people to have 8 breakout rooms. One person I'm going to leave in the main room. So
can you show me what that strum is again? The rest strum?
oh, that's okay. That was you, Christine, with the echo then. Okay. This is called, so there's 2 different kinds of strokes in classical guitar, and we borrow that for the ukulele. One is called the rest stroke, and that happens when after you finger pick it, it rests on the next string. All right. And this is really powerful when you want to have a long and loud sound. Everybody try that. If you have a straight thumb and just do the G string. Do you hear how long it sounds? How loud and long? Now, if you were to curve it, that would be great if you want to do fast, short, and softer sounds. So curve your thumb. You notice that if you curve it, it flies off, doesn't it? It's really hard to kind of, I mean, sure, you could do it, you know, but if I were to finger pick all 4 strings, it would be like this. Look at that extra effort because I have to move my hand. And every time I have that extra effort, I lose energy, right? So when you are into your finger picking, You know, you could go really fast if you got small gestures and curved fingers like this. But if I were to straighten them, it's harder, but I could be louder. It would be slower and louder. So Christine, that was a great question. Yeah, this is just one of those things. So I'm going to ask all of you to go into your rooms, but I'm going to ask Ellie to stay in the main room with me because we have an odd number. Otherwise, everybody will be in a room with another. And use your handout to go through this exercise, and we'll report back. So I'm going to stop the recording stopped briefly. Okay. Joyce, are you in a room? Okay. Joyce, you're in a room 8. Are you able to join the room? So Christine, who just asked me the question, is waiting for you. Okay, there you go. Oh, Christine, you haven't joined, but Ellie has joined. You can't. Okay, I am going to move Ellie to room 8. So Joyce, do you want to unmute? I'm just gonna have you stay with me in here because you didn't join room and I didn't want Christine to be by herself. Oh.
Is it unmuted?
Oh, now you're unmuted, yeah. So you were having problems trying to join?
Well, my issue is I had to go to town and I couldn't get home to my house in time to get my ukulele. I made a mistake and didn't bring it with me.
Oh, I see. So you don't have your ukulele with you.
So I'm just sitting here practicing the movements and trying to remember where to put my fingers. But I'm listening and I'm trying to pay real good attention. You know, how to pluck and how to strum and yeah.
Okay.
I mean, by the time I get home, you'd probably be done with the room.
Yeah, because this is only 1 hour. So I see that.
Because I'm 15 minutes from my house.
So
I think it's best that I just pay really good attention.
okay, I'm gonna move Dwayne into the main room because Frances, who is online, she's not joined. So there. Okay, Dwayne, sorry, I moved you into the main room because your partner Frances has not joined you, and I didn't want you to be by yourself. And Joyce doesn't have her ukulele on her, but she's paying attention. So maybe what we could do in this room is for us to simulate what everybody else is supposed to do. How about that? Okay. All right. How about if you unmute yourself, because when you come in, it automatically mutes you. Yeah. Are you able to unmute yourself?
Who you talking?
Okay. All right. Is that what you're talking about? The handout for this workshop? Okay. All right. Mabel, you're back. Great. So I hope that was enough time. Was that enough time for everyone to kind of go through everything, figure out?
Yeah, I mean, our guess was that you wanted us to play those chords without looking at them, right?
Without looking at your left hand. Yeah.
Yeah. Without
And to
looking at
keep
the left
a
hand.
finger
Yeah.
on?
Yes. And the trick is to keep at least one finger on the
Yeah.
fretboard.
Yeah. I think we were able to do that.
All of them?
Yeah.
Backwards too? Okay.
Bob was with me, but I don't see
I
him
will
now.
practice.
Wow. That's pretty amazing. All right. So now let me ask you this. How many of you actually went on to the crossword puzzle in your handout and did it? Did anybody do it? Christine, you did it. Okay.
Well, I did it yesterday, but
Sherry, my gosh. You did it yesterday. Okay. Because if you did it yesterday, then you should be able to do this one. This is a different puzzle, but it's the same questions. Yeah. It's the same questions. So let's see. Maybe you could write it down. If you did it, you would know it pretty quickly. The thing is, I don't know whether I can annotate with this one. One across is F sharp minor. So here's the trick. Who knows how to do, who loves crossword puzzles? Okay, great. Jeannie, what's the secret? Do you start from the left to the right, or do you do the ones that you know first? You do the ones that you know, right? You don't go from the left to the right. You don't go numerically, right? So like G7 would be what? 0, 2.
2, 1, 2.
Very good. Very good choice. Okay. So then we look to see what else do we know, right? Do we know A minor?
why aren't we doing one across?
Sorry, what?
Why aren't we doing one across?
Well, because that's not so easy. Right. So Christine, I'm afraid you have the mic that's got echo. So while you're on, why don't I ask you to choose one and let's fill it out.
All right. F across, which is 9 across. 2, 0, 1, 0.
Very good.
F sharp minor, one across.
Okay. Sherry, what is 1 across F sharp minor?
It's 2, 1, 2, 0.
Very good. Okay. So this is what you could do on your own. I'm so anxious to get to the next one, so I'm not going to continue anymore. But, let's go to the next one. Where's my next one? Because if I would love to get your feedback, and then you will get a different crossword puzzle in which you have to spell out the names of the chords. Oop, that's the answer. I'm just gonna erase that. Here we go. Clear. Here we go. All right, so this is just a little something in case you're into, what's it? Now to call. I had to teach kids and adults real fast. And there's just so many numbers and names we have to know, and finger numbers. It could get kind of crazy, but y'all know this. And then the left hand, we number them, but the right hand, we call them by Spanish names. Yeah, PIMA stand for, who speaks Spanish and can say what they are? Just unmute yourself. P is...
Thumb, index, middle.
And how do you say that in Spanish?
I don't remember.
Because literally, why would thumb be a P, right? Thumb is not a thump.
Pulgar.
Very good. And then?
Well, I'm guessing in dice or something like that, but
Yeah.
I don't know the other ones. Media.
Medio, yeah. And then
Anillo for the ring.
annular, yeah, like ring.
Anillo, yeah.
Ring finger. Very good. Yeah. So that's good to know. So this one, you might wonder, why did I cover this? It's because you don't need to know the rest. Let's see. What I was talking about before, the other way to communicate is using the number of the strings. Instead of G, C, E, A, we go 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1. And there's several ways to play it. One is, what am I doing? One is just using your thumb. The other one is using all 4 fingers, PIMA, PIMA, to do the same thing. And there are all sorts of finger picking patterns. We don't have time to go through them all.
Didn't you say that it gets easier if you use all your fingers?
That's a very good question. I don't really agree with that. I think when you use all your fingers, you do it for a purpose. Every finger controls one string, but it's not necessary to use all four fingers.
Well, you were saying how you have to curl it. That's why maybe I
Oh, right.
misunderstood.
Right. No, that's just a particular kind of stroke that
Oh,
you're
okay.
playing. Yeah. So take an example, this C major scale, right? This is called harmonizing the scale. In other words, or harmonizing anything means you add the chords to it. There's more than one way to do it. Now, if I were to finger pick this 0, so, open string, and I just use my thumb, there's nothing wrong with that because the thumb is very powerful and there's a tie. Because the thumb, it can be very loud and sustaining. But if I want to go fast, I might think, well, unless you're Jake Shimabukuro, I can't go fast with my thumb. It's faster for me to use my index and my middle finger as if I'm walking like this. And I curve my fingers because I'm trying to walk fast rather than slowly and loudly. You notice the difference? Is everybody muted so you can hear me? If I were to straighten my fingers, then it would be much louder and longer sustaining than if I were to curl my fingers. That's the Boston Siren. Yeah, so those are the different finger picking techniques you could use. And let me just do this. I'm gonna have you play the strum on the chords while I play the melody, okay? And then can you sing along with me the C major scale as well? Just hum. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Okay. So now you're gonna sing or finger pick, but I'm gonna strum. Okay, and then hear how it sounds. Ready and da da dum da 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 da. Okay, so my book, Fingerstyle Chord Melody, basically focuses only on the descending scale and harmonizing it so that we could practice getting better at finger picking. And then my challenge for you, and this is something I want to get everybody to get to, is to look at this, what's in front of you, and say, I can create a chord melody arrangement by looking at it. And what do I mean by that? I mean, I'm going to embed the melody and the chords together. So it's like an instrumental solo piece. So it's like this. Ready? Where did all those extra notes come from?
So is that an arpeggio, basically?
No, not at all. I just filled in, all the empty space with all sorts of other things I could add into it. If I were to do an arpeggio, yeah, Jeannie, it would sound like this. So an arpeggio is more like, arpeggio just means harp-like, sound like a harp. So you break up a chord into the notes, usually in one direction, like this. Or it could be going up and coming down. Of course, it's like, that's not in one direction because this is da, 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 da. Well, our hands are going in one direction, but we have the high G ukulele, so it doesn't sound like that. So it's a very good question. Is that an arpeggio? What I just did was just all sorts of things. I did, I just filled it in with all different directions, so it wasn't arpeggio. Okay. So let's try this again. If you already know what I'm talking about and you're used to creating instrumental solos by looking at just the melody and the chords, go ahead and do that. If you're not there yet, let's just accompany them by humming the scale and do it slowly. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Notice there was a tie. Now we're on the F. Do you like that? It's kind of pretty, isn't it? Okay, I'm gonna take us to the next one, which is this question in your, what was that I asked you all to do? What, let's see, common chord progression, and then something about diatonic chords. So this is interesting. A diatonic scale is one that uses half steps and whole steps, and there's actually 7 notes before they repeat, but it's not a chromatic scale, nor is it a whole tone scale. All right, so like a major scale, a natural minor scale, those are all diatonic scales. So the chords that we create from using all those notes, like the alphabet, from that scale, we call that diatonic chord. And we usually say these are all diatonic chords on the C major scale. Okay, and what you notice is that it uses all these notes. There's not a single note that doesn't belong to the C major scale. And if you were to stack them with the same notes, you'll find out that those that are based on the first do, we call it the first degree, and the 4th degree, and the 5th note, 5th degree, are all major chords, hence capital letters. And those on the 2nd, 3rd, and 6th are all minor chords, just happens that way. And then on the 7th, it's actually diminished chord. And since we have 4 strings, what do we do with the 4th string? Well, it's supposed we add another note, because otherwise all these chords, one of the notes is going to be repeated or on another octave because we want to play all 4 strings, but we only need 3 different notes to create these chords. So then you end up with C major 7, D minor 7, and all these. So these are diatonic chords in C major. Very useful if you're into accompanying, writing songs. Very important. So let's try this. I have 2 exercises which are from the book, but I don't show them like this in the fingerstyle chord melody book. I actually show them with notation. Sing or hum the descending scale while playing the chords. Play the chord melody arrangement if you can. Duet with someone else. I'm not sure we have time to do that. If it's in person, we can. But let's see if we could do that. So here's an example. Let's strum first. Always strum. Ready? Da, ready, and da, 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 da. Okay, see if you could play this without looking at your left hand. Let's try it again. We'll do it again, and if you could finger pick, great. Ready, and da, da, da. Okay, that was a chord melody arrangement that I created, which means I could, it's an instrumental solo. Now, let me give you a challenge. Can you combine strumming and finger picking at the same time? What do I mean by that? Like play the chord first and then finger pick it like this. You see what I just did? I used my thumb and I strummed down and I came down. I just did that. I could have come down. Maybe I'll do that. In fact, I only need 2 fingers. I just need my thumb and my index finger to come back down or up, right? Come back up. So try it again. C, use my straight thumb. Make sure I hear that very important note. The last note is very important because that's the beginning of the descending scale. And then to fill the rest of the beat, I will use my index finger and come back towards me. Yeah. Okay, then G. And then F. Now here is where it's important. I now need to I need to hear this. So when I play the C5 chord, I want to hear this. I don't want to hear, because then it doesn't sound like the descending C major scale. So I want to sound like, but then I could go there. And then the F, I'm going to stop there on the E string, because that's the F for part of the, it's as if the descending scale is the song, is the melody line. And then C. It gets harder and harder because I'm running out of strings. Okay. All right, so this is one way to harmonize it using only chords from the C major. All of these notes are only in the C major. And by the way, you might say, what is C5 doing there? This is called a power chord. All of these chords require 3 different notes to define the chord. But the power chord, C5, G5, D5, whatever 5, only requires 2 notes. In this case, the C and the G. So if you were to play that, you'll hear the C, the G, the G, the C. 2 C's, 2 G's. Oh, sorry. So that's called a power chord. All right, let's take a look at this one. Harmonization of the C major descending scale. Sing or hum the descending scale or play the chord melody arrangement. So let's see if we could do that. Try not to look at your left hand. We'll do it slowly. So 4 counts on each chord. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I'm just gonna take a look. Was that too fast? Who managed to do that? Raise your hand. Kind of? All right. Who sang the descending major scale and strummed the chords? Who did that? Okay, who just strummed and didn't sing? It's okay. That's the first step, to just strum and not sing, to make sure you're not looking at your left hand. Okay, all right. All right, so I want to take you to the heart of my book, which I'm excited about. And it's not so remember, I wrote this when I was teaching ukulele riffs class. And suddenly I looked at everybody's fingers and I thought, they need some exercises to help them, So and all these chord melody arrangements, like when you do soloing in interludes, they almost always start with like a chord. So I thought, well, why don't I write something to help them? And before I knew it, within 2 days, I wrote 12. But then I didn't get to introduce these to my class because then my class was over. So I want to share this with you. So these are the chords you just looked at, right? C, G, A minor, E minor, F, C, D minor, C. And I'm asking you to just use 2 fingers, your right thumb and index finger, and strum. This is a down strum, even though it looks like an up strum. Down strum from the G string all the way to the A string. And then use your index and thumb to do the inside strings. Da 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 da. Okay? So literally you don't have to read this. You just have to read the chords and then remember this formula. Do the down strum. Oops, sorry. And then the index and thumb and index for the inside. So, okay, so let's try that. Let's try that. This is really good for learning to read tabs. I think some of you also want to learn to read notes, so this is also good. So let's try that. 1 E. So every time we have these 16th notes, we go 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and second line. Repeat. And then the second half of this 1-page exercise, you actually have to strum twice. So it sounds like, so the section B, this is section A, section B would be. Okay, let's just go through that. Choose either one. Either strum once and do all the insides, or strum twice. This will be the second strum. Ready? 3 E and 4 E and and then when you get better, you can make it faster. Yeah. Then I bet somebody's going to ask the question, why can't I use all my 4 fingers? Sure. What if you were to use all your 4 fingers? Instead of doing a down strum with the thumb, what if you were to do a roll with all 4? Your thumb, index, middle, and ring. We call it Pima finger. And you do, let's see if you could do that. All right, now if you feel this is too challenging, just stick to the previous one. 3 E and 4 E and wow, it's almost time to go. So, the one I did on Wednesday, I asked if it was somebody's birthday, and it was someone's husband's birthday, so we managed to record happy birthday. But I just want to mention common chord progressions are basically formula that we see in a lot of songs. And happy birthday tune, you know, the chords C, G7, C, and then we have an F, C, G7, C. It's also used in Charlie and the MTA, Banks of Ohio, Blame It on the Bossa Nova, and a whole bunch of songs. So I added that in there. We got 12-bar blues and all kinds, Hawaiian vamp. Let's just do the Hawaiian vamp because it follows a formula. 2 counts each. 1, 2. So it's A7, D7, G, and all that. 1, 2, ready, and a 7, D, 7, G, D7, A7, D7, G, again. Okay. So in my new class that we're starting next Wednesday, we're going to start with a minor chord progression, and it's the Andalusian cadence, which is used in Hit the Road Jack and a bunch of other songs. All right, so I'm going to skip that. And if you're interested and curious, and especially if you can't take my classes and want to buy this, I'm doing a special pre-release offer. In other words, before it gets printed, I'm going to, give you the PDFs and all the updates every time I change it. And it's $20 for one, 2 different ones, $30, 3 different ones, $40, $50 for all 4. And I'm right now working on the 30 ukulele exercises, finishing that for the 1st of November. And then the last one, beginning of December, 1st December, will be the ukulele puzzles and games. But these 2 in bold are already ready. And you got a glimpse of that. 45 chord switching exercises and then 12 studies for the fingers. I just threw in one more, so there's actually 13 of them. I decided to put that in yesterday. Okay, so this is what you'll get when you, and I'm just gonna, this new crossword puzzle and a useful chord table based on the number of fingers, like the 1-finger chord, the 2-finger chord. If you were to fill out this form to give me some feedback on how today was for you. Any questions? This was fast.
Yes, it was fast. So theoretically, I should be able to download this information from chat right now.
Just the 2-page handout.
Oh,
Yeah.
I did find that. I
Oh,
went
good.
back. I loaded up everything again, and I found it.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, puzzle will be fun.
Yeah.
I'll do that
So
tonight.
I'm trying to put together, I always need about 6 people to start a class, and they're small classes, usually about 10 or 11 people. And let's see, Jeannie, you've been in my class. Mabel, you've been in my Chinese class. Donald's a big fan. Let's see. And Rosemarie, of course, so much that she started her own recital club once a month. Yeah, so it's my latest blog post on my website, anku.com. I put down what I wanted to do in this class. The first piece is a Japanese song, Moon Over a Ruined Castle, very, very famous. And because a lot of, in ukulele, we don't really explore minor keys, everything is happy, happy, happy. But sometimes it's nice, the beautiful sound of the ukulele. So that's all. So I hope you will fill out the form or order some books or consider registering for the ukulele class, which is going to be hybrid on Wednesdays with performance opportunities for this fall. If not, come see me in 3-Chord Thursday. Next week is the full moon. Hunter's full moon, and I always begin with a short lesson, and the short lesson will be introduction to this famous Japanese song called Moon Over Ruined Castle. And these are the books, I just printed them and made them available. Any
How
other
much
questions?
does your courses run?
How much or how long do they run?
Both.
Both. Okay, so I usually do 8 weeks. It's always been 8 weeks, an hour in Zoom. And then so it's $260, and that includes all the instructional material and videos. But if you got the annual pass or bought the season pass, then it's It's 210. Yeah, 210. Yeah. And I'm also usually one for every course, I need a teaching assistant to help me. So then I give reductions or waiver or something. So
Wait, I wish I was good, but I'm not.
the teaching assistant is not to help me teach, but Rosemarie's been one. You could say, what did you do primarily as a teaching assistant?
Yeah.
It
What-
was it was very easy. so I helped like online sometimes to mute people and stuff like that. But then indexed the recordings afterwards. And what was the other thing you just got done saying?
You
Ann?
organize practice sessions.
Oh yeah, and if anybody wanted to do practice sessions, I organized those. So it's not. You don't have to know how to play the ukulele very well to do any of that stuff. You just know how to do some other things.
And what time of day was your classes?
Yeah, so what we want to do is to be on Wednesday. So the next 3 Wednesdays in October and the first 3 Wednesdays in November at 5 o'clock. But those people that are coming in to this building, which is in Lower Mills, Dorchester, or near Milton, Massachusetts, they would come earlier at 4 o'clock. So we could be a class, just like what we did on Wednesday. And then they would stay for the Zoom session, but they would already be working. Yeah. And then they could come anytime they want to practice and stay as long as they want, even afterwards. And there's a lot of really nice restaurants and a famous Neponset River Trail here. So you could go walking, cycling, jogging, even skiing. Yeah. And then we have some performance opportunities. So I'm going to add in a few more dates because we're going to turn it into, yeah, that's right. So
Well,
some
I want to
options.
get your books for sure.
Great. All right.
Yeah.
So I'll send you all an email with the links to everything. Yeah.
I
All right.
tutor a child on Wednesdays.
Sorry, you
So
what?
that's
Oh, you.
one reason why I tutor. I
Oh,
tutor. Yeah. And quite often I'm not done until like 5:30, 6
oh,
o'clock. Yeah.
right. Oh,
But I
well.
really want to get better.
Okay. Great.
So
Well, I'm teaching piano as
yeah,
well.
when I'm no longer
So,
tutoring.
oh, okay. I'm teaching piano on Thursdays at 4:30 now. So, okay. All right.
Oh.
Well, any other questions, comments?
Thanks
No?
for having me, Ian. I really enjoyed it.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it was a wonderful class. Thank you.
Great.
Enjoyed
Thank
it.
Great to
you.
see you, Mabel. Everyone.
Bye.
All right. Great to see you, Vicky. Vicky's
Vicky's
got my
got my
books.
Yay!
All right. Okay. Let me see.
Thanks.
Bye,
Yeah.
Sherry.
Thank you, Sherry. Karen, you were here Wednesday. What did you think of this? It was very different from Wednesday, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a little different, a little and it felt a little more challenging